Hello everyone, this is Amir from Meshmatic. Today we are going to look at the issue with bad normals inside Maya. So I've prepared this model for you. From here, when you look at it, you don't see any issues. This model was originally from SolidWorks and it was a CAD model. We converted it into a mesh and we imported it into Maya. When you look at it from here, you don't see any errors, so it looks pretty good. Even if I preview this inside V-Ray, loading, perfect. So even inside V-Ray, if you are using this model for animation or feature film, you don't see any errors from this distance. But sometimes you have to take very close-up render shots of the model, so you have to zoom in, and that's where you start to notice some issues in the model. For example, in this specific model, let me quickly zoom in. So for example, on this model, you see these weird shadows starting to happen. And if I go back to the normal preview, these weird shadows in the edges, the reason these things happen is because sometimes when you convert a model from one format to another format, some of these properties, some of its qualities do not convert in a right way. So that's where you have to come into Maya or other softwares that you use and manually fix those errors. In this case, I have a series of bad normals here, here, here. So what I need to do is to regenerate all the normals on the mesh and then apply a new normal smoothness to the model. Now, Maya has a very easy to use tool for this. Simply just go to this menu, Mesh Display. If you don't see it, that's maybe because you're inside a different environment. So just come here and switch to modeling. And then under Mesh Display. And in this menu, look what happens when I'm using these tools. The first one I'm using is Set to Face. So this tool, what it does is it regenerates face normals. Now pay attention to what happens when I press this button, Set to Face. So all those shadows are suddenly gone. Look, if I deselect it so it's easier to see, all those shadows are gone, but everything looks very rough. So all the edges are pretty hard, and I don't want that. Maya has another perfect tool to fix this issue as well. Here, there is another tool called Soften Harden Edges. What this one does is it calculates all these normals and it detects any sharp or smooth edges. So for example, this edge here, this one, is part of this surface, which is a very smooth surface. And Maya will detect and apply a smooth normal to this edge. But for this one, that is a very sharp corner, it will apply a hard edge. Make sure you're in the select mode. And then click Soften Harden Edges. And if I deselect the mesh, you can see the results are much, much better. So this area here looks very smooth. This area looks very smooth. These areas are very sharp. You can do this for the entire mesh as well. So just go to Mesh Display, Set to Face. This might take a few seconds or even a minute to complete computing all the normals for the faces. Depends on the complexity of your model, it might actually take a lot longer. All right, now everything has been, all the normals have been recalculated. I have to go ahead and select all the mesh and use Soften Harden Edges and wait a few more seconds, and now it is done. And this way there should not be any more bad normals left inside this mesh. Let's go ahead and check it out in V-Ray. So before we fix all the normals, I actually took a render shot of that weird shadow on the mesh, and that's how it looked like. After I fixed it in V-Ray, this was the final result, and I'm guessing this is what you also want to have in your videos or animations. keep in mind, by doing this, you are making your mesh a little heavier to process, because normals are actually part of your file data. When you regenerate them and apply a smooth or hard edge normals to your mesh, you're adding more and more details to your file. So your files become bigger and more complex to process by your CPU. If you're in film or animation rendering, then this is not really a big concern for you. But if you're working with game engines, then speed and processing is a major concern. So normals are a little expensive. Just use them wherever you're very close to the mesh or your camera is very close to the mesh. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in other videos.